Hello, everyone. I know it has been a minute or several, and it's been a bit of a busy time. My children had a pretty in-depth not wellness period, and so um, that's made it a little bit challenging to do anything, let alone do videos and meditations. And um, that's really the season that we're in. And just when everybody was getting better, something new came along and kind of got everybody unwell again. So um, I think it will probably be a little bit longer than even I like in between doing these meditations for all of you. And yet, I can't apologize because I'm a mom, and that's part of being a mom. That's my role for them and for myself. And so I do hope and intend to do a meditation with you all very soon. Today is New Year's Eve, and the new moon just happened. And so it's a big time, the second new moon of December, and it's a big time to really affirm, I feel like, and let go of things going into the new year. And I've noticed a theme because I've been able to doom scroll social media, taking care of especially the youngest. She's just been nursing nonstop, and I cannot drink enough water right now at all. But it seems like a very prevalent theme this year, and maybe the last couple of years for a lot of people, is friendships and their idea of friendships. And so I've really been wanting to make this video since the last meditation I did, but I have not had time. And today I was like, you know what, I need to release this. I need to let it go. And baby girl's doing better and everything, and I felt comfortable coming back here and just chatting with you guys for a few minutes, because I feel like every time I saw a post with someone sharing their experience, it uplifted me, and it made me feel not so alone, not so isolated, and knowing that there are people out there who want and desire similar things to me, and that just because a lot of friendships dissolved over the last few years, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. Those friendships ended and evaporated because I started to love myself, and that is a beautiful thing. And when I look back over my lifetime of friendships, I see myself again and again where I'm very loving, I'm very devoted, I'm bending over backwards and making compromises that other people aren't willing to compromise, and I'm bearing my feelings, and that's on me. I'm burying my communication, and that was a big theme through my illness and now this recovery period. Was I have got to communicate. I am responsible for me, and nobody can know how I'm feeling if I do not communicate that fact to everybody else. And what I've found is some people handle that communication really well because they value you. They want you in their life and to be a part of your life, and they understand what you're saying, and they're saying, yes, I want to be with you. And then there are those people that are going to go, oh, you're finding a problem with me, and their ego kicks in and they can't handle it. And all you can do at that point is say, this is my boundary line, and I've communicated this, and it's not changing, it's not getting better, and this relationship has now become stagnant, and I've imparted to you what I'm needing, and you're saying you can't do that. And that's okay, because it's not my job or anyone's job to force somebody else to change. I can only say, this is what I'm needing, this is what I'm giving, and if it's not what they are wanting and needing at that point, then that's great for them, but that's not going to work for me anymore. And so a big part of that is then being able to let go. And that's hard. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this. I have a lot of online friends. I have women that I've done retreats with who have been part of my births, and I love them, and they all have a very, oh my gosh, special place in my heart. But it's not the same as a day-to-day friendship where you're meeting with somebody and seeing them. It's a different kind of relationship. It's a long distance relationship, and you're probably getting, generally, the best of people all the time. You're not getting the tough stuff when your kids are fighting with each other or something like that. You're not having to work quite as hard. And while I love and value those friendships, there's a different kind of support that I had hoped for and that I needed while I was sick. And I found literally most people just didn't get that and didn't understand that. And when I would articulate my feelings, it was not received well. And it just kind of gets to a point where you go, huh, I'm literally I'm sick, I'm in damage control, and there's only so much I can do as a person. And you just you kind of let it all go. And you grieve too. And I think even becoming well and having the acupuncture work for my particular illness, there's still a grieving that these people didn't find me worthy enough. And then I go, no, 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 no. I am worthy enough. I am worthy enough that I'm not going to want to be around people that don't see the value in me. And so I feel like we get stuck in that first part, and I could sit here and be like, I'm so alone, I'm so alone, and I'm ready for the people, I'm ready for the community. I made a post yesterday where I was very blunt. It's very hard to have 3 young kids that are not 100%, and it's very hard for it to go on for 6 weeks or so where you're just like, ugh. And that's the nature of what they had, and it's okay. And everybody's better, and it's great. But there's that aspect of, I want what I have with those women online and that I've had at retreats. I want that in real life. And I do have that with one singular person whom I love. And the best part is that we are vastly different people, and yet that idea and that communication, and whenever we have conversations, and even if they're difficult conversations, it's just like, that's what you need, that's okay. And it's the ego isn't in there, and I'm just like, where have you been all my life? And it makes me want to have more relationships that are like that are genuine. And it's really, I do wonder if it's a quantity versus quality thing, because it is hard to show up for people. I can't show up for anybody right now because of the kids being sick, and I get that. And similarly, she's in the same place right now too, and that's okay. there's still little things and little conversations and things like that. And that's beautiful too. And I guess whether you're completely alone and isolated, I think, or you've got a couple people that you can count on, this last season for many of us has been one of really valuing ourselves and loving ourselves, and just saying, I am worth this. I'm worth more than this, and I am okay with being alone. 100% okay with being alone. If I have to put up with people that don't value me, I'm worth better than that. And I see the old me, and I see the old patterns, the bending over backwards, and the where I would get to near the end of the relationship, and I'd get so frustrated because the people were not giving me what I was giving, and yet I'm lacking communicating this whole entire time. So I'm really as much to blame as they are, but I'm getting more and more like, no, that's not right. I like, I need you to show up for me like I'm showing up for you. And people don't like that. And we're all mirrors for each other. So a lot of times that's, what is this mirroring back to me? What are they showing me? They're showing me I'm working really hard in a relationship, and I value that. And when I'm not seeing it, that's what I'm needing. Maybe this relationship isn't all it's cut out to be. And I've had so many relationships like that, or relationships with, especially with women. Women compete with each other. I feel like we're taught to compete with each other from as early on as possible. And we're taught to devalue each other, and definitely not cheer for each other. And when I see, when I am in this relationship with my friend that I have, it's not like that. We have vastly different belief systems and different even what are our truths. But I don't try to convince her I'm right. Come over and convince it. Like, there's none of that. There's just that's beautiful that you see it that way. And it's really helped me to see everybody has their unique perspective. I'm not going to waste my time convincing you that my way is the right way, because my way isn't the right way. It's the right way for me, but it's not necessarily the right way. Your way might work for you, and it's perfectly fine. And we have to get past this idea, and I think this idea of really becoming a community, because we can't become a community whilst we're in the middle of saying, you need to think exactly like I think. That's not a community. Like, I mean, I guess it can be if you can get enough people to believe what you want to believe. And hey, religions have managed to do that for thousands of years, so maybe you can. But I feel like that also hasn't worked. There's been a lot of people that have been silenced and devalued and not appreciated. And I love the idea of sharing our perspectives and sharing our truths, and just loving and embracing that from the other person, and not saying, you have to think exactly like me. You don't have to think exactly like me. I share my experiences because I hope to encourage anyone else that's going through a similar situation. If you are sick, it's usually a time of reflection, or it can be a time of reflection. You can use it to feel miserable and, really dig that hole of despair. Or you can use it as a time to find the beauty and the joy and the gratitude of any situation, even the hardest situations. And you start to find that sunshine everywhere, and you start being grateful for even the smallest things, even if it's I have clothes, or hey, maybe you want to be naked, that's okay too. You know, but I have a house, I have a bed, I have a car, or I have a bike, or I can walk, or whatever it is. I ate this today. I had 3 meals today. There's literally so many things to be grateful for, and it's just trying to find those and hone in. And sometimes at the beginning, when you're starting, you're just like, this is so silly. I'm being grateful for my bed. But I'm being grateful for my bed because have you slept on the floor? It hurts. I have concrete floors. Oh my God, not happening. So I am very grateful for my bed. That's how I prefer to sleep. But I I just I feel like there's a lot of us, we're getting out of these cycles that we've had during this Piscean age, and we're going into the Aquarius age here, and it's coming full on. And the universe right now is saying to us, okay, look, we've been repeating these cycles and repeating these cycles and repeating these cycles, and you've stopped and you've gone, I see the cycle, and I'm breaking out of the cycle, and I'm starting a new pattern. And a lot of us are having situations come up where we need to, like, how are we going to perform? Are we going to perform like we have again and again and again over the last 10 years or so? Or is it time for something new? And then when it's time for something new, okay, it's time for something new. And I feel like a lot of us just, we're right there, we're right on that precipice, we're right on the edge of whatever we've been waiting for. Whether it's that community, or oh, that reminds me, I kind of like jumped, but a lot of us are wanting that idea of community, and I think we have to be ready for the idea of community. Community isn't just a community where you're able to respect each other's beliefs and say, we have two different ways of doing this and neither way is wrong. Can we come together and have a meeting of the minds? Is a different place of you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and we're going to do it my way. That's not a community. And so if you're trying to build an actual community, we all had to get the growth done to be able to get to this point. And now I think a lot of us are going to start to find that our community is coming together. It's being pieced together. And the relationships within that community are going to be so much richer and more bright because of all the work that a lot of us have done over the last few years. Another thing I wanted to talk about before I go is I have seen several references to this, and I completely agree. There's been a lot of us, because our vibration is higher and things like that, we're jumping into different timelines and whatnot, and so we're finding people that used to be around us are no longer there because they're just not in this vibrational timeline, and there's new people popping in. And this is how some of these new relationships and this new community is coming, is because we're jumping into these alternative timelines and that sort of thing. So, Katie, how do you know this is happening? Well, I had a very unique experience. And I did share this on social media somewhere. But I like Christmas movies. I like the Hallmark hokey Christmas shows and everything. And, the sweeter the love story and everything. I'm like, yes, I'm all out there. I'm completely sappy and love it, and I want to be crying and all of that, because I've spent so much of my life just repressing this feminine energy, and I'm enjoying it. So it was all Hallmark all the time, not the actual channel, but whatever sappy close I could find on Netflix and Amazon and all that. And I started a movie on Netflix, and it's I got about 30 or 45 minutes in, so quite a bit into this movie, and something happened and I stopped. I had to get up and do mom stuff or whatever. And I didn't get back to it. I couldn't even remember the name of it. And just like 2 days ago, it popped up after I watched another sappy movie, and I'm like, oh, I can finish that movie. And it's really weird because Netflix will tell you if you've started something, like you could restart it or you can just continue on, and it didn't say that. It said to start, and I was like, well, that's weird, because I know I watched this movie. So I started watching this movie, and it is completely different for the first 30 or 40 minutes, and then the rest of the story is the same. And I know you're going, but Katie, like, it probably just was another sappy Hallmark story that was like another happy sappy Hallmark story. You'd think so, but it was the same actors. So that's what makes it bizarre. And this is where I'm like, oh, I'm jumping timelines, and that's okay, and that's perfect, and that's just exactly what, jump timelines again. Okay, I must be doing something right. So if you're finding little things like that that are off, and there's been other things, but that's the most predominant thing that I can think of, just just like if you would see what people call angel numbers, like if you see 333 or 555, or I've been seeing a lot of like 355, where it's two numbers that are exactly the same and things like that. And this could go into a coincidence conversation. Katie, it's just coincidence. Well, if you still believe in coincidences, that's fine for you. I do not believe in coincidences. I think that this is a very easy way for guides and angels and ancestors to communicate with us. And so me seeing those things, I go, thank you. And then I usually look up the number. And if I've looked it up before, it will pop up, and then I know it's happening with that number or that series of numbers more often. And those are all beautiful things. And I'm asking for, make it clear when you're talking to me. There's times when I'm talking with my guides that it is very clear, it's night and day, but it's usually at the onset of meditating or something like that. And it is getting easier. And so if you're also working on these sorts of tools to be able to talk to your guides and that sort of thing, you might find that you start to get into a meditative state and you talk to them just very easily. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Be appreciative, because think of where you were just a few years ago. You weren't talking to your guides, and if you did feel those impulses, frequently you ignored them. And if you saw 555, you'd be like, huh, that's weird. What a coincidence. Celebrate your growth right now. Celebrate how far you've come as a person, as an individual, your soul's journey in this lifetime. It's a beautiful thing. It's what many of us came to do. It's what only a few are achieving, and it's amazing, and just love it. There's other lives we tried to do similar things and we couldn't do it, or we kind of get there but then it'd get difficult and we'd pull back. And a lot of us are ready. It's this coming out of hermit mode. It's we've broken the cycle, we've changed the cycle, we've proven to ourselves, not to anyone else, to ourselves, we've changed that cycle, and now it's time. It's time for the next thing. It's time for, whether it's your purpose work or whatever you want to consider it, what you've come to do. Now that you're in this knowledge, now that you're in this power, what are you gonna do? And like, this is something I've been saying for months, and I think it's a matter of some of these little pieces that just need to fall into place, and part of it is just being patient and letting those pieces fall into place as they need to. There's our time, and then there's divine time. And I think it's beautiful that there are people that are manifesting things, instantaneously and things like that, or I can manifest this in a week. That's beautiful, wonderful, and I am ready. Double thumbs up. That's awesome. But I think some of us have other lessons, and there's other people that are learning lessons along their way, and we're planting the seeds. And so some of our things aren't coming to fruition right away. That's okay. That doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. That's a time of, can you can you still affirm and keep that vibration and keep it going and know that it's coming to you? It's already yours. Can you just know it and have faith in that? Those are harder conversations. And maybe it is, you need to tweak this and you need to tweak that. Or maybe that's just what it is right now, is that you are supposed to just wait and being okay with that. So I guess as we're wrapping up the New Year's, I'm really happy to kind of like get a lot of that off my chest, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are having such similar experiences, and it just, it helps so much to see someone going through something similar. One of my good online friends, who actually was present for one of my births, she had a very hard time with some other women, and there was another one that had a very hard time with a group of friends, and I just keep I see similar things that I feel like a lot of us are going through, and I think we need to just embrace the growth that we've had so far. It sounds like I'm getting paged, so I'm going to have to go. But I hope the gist of the message is there, and that those of you that need it are able to glean what you need from this message. So I hope you have a wonderful day, a very happy, safe new year, and new meditation coming at some point in 2025. Have a great day.